Okay, so welcome to part two of, well, the spoiler review of Twin Peaks Season 3, episodes 17 and 18. There is definitely a need for clarity in terms of what people expect from a TV show and what David Lynch has promised us over the years. He's never been overly concerned with giving us a cut and dry story, and so therefore I think it's very easy to forget these things, and that can explain quite a lot of the anger and confusion that I've seen in certain comments on posts of videos that I've just recently checked out in regards to these last two episodes. If episode 18 had not aired, then I think certain questions that would have gone unanswered would have been forgiven. Because, let's face it, 17 is the ending that a lot of people were quite happy with. I mean, it wasn't an ending, but it felt very conclusive, especially in regards to Bob and that whole storyline with the evil Cooper. So, here we are now with 18, which I said in the first part of this spoiler review in the other video that it is in many ways doing what all soap operas do, and make no doubt about it, this is a soap opera. We are now in a realm where we could get no more Twin Peaks, and if we do, then all these little seeds that Lynch and Frost have peppered throughout this very bizarre film noir ending, they'll be paid off. I don't think they know particularly exactly where they could be going with all these different things. I think in many different ways it's no secret, Lynch is quite an intuitive director, and sometimes if you just have the basic elements of an idea, you can fit a logic to it later on, just by remaining almost childlike in your approach to it, being playful. This video isn't about me, but it's relevant to my point in that whenever I've directed music videos, there may be an idea as to what we're going to do, but more often than not, certain circumstances, whether it be a lack of equipment or an issue of personnel, have forced me into rethinking what I'm doing. And I don't think that's in any way a falsehood to indulge in that kind of, well, hey, this isn't working, but let's try this. As long as everybody's on board, then you can pretty much create whatever you need to and have it, the internal logic of what you're filming, not only be compelling for you and the audience, but it makes it a game, rather than an activity that can be misconstrued as something that has to be definitely thought out. Okay, so not all filmmakers think that way. James Cameron definitely likes to have a lot of control over what's going on. But to go back to my original point, I think Lynch and Frost are quite happy to play with all the different toys in their sandpit, so to speak, and not quite know exactly what they're going to do with them. But because they're so intriguing, after who knows how many years they'll be between now and the next season, they might have so many different connections that they make off camera with plot lines that when they actually go to film it, it will seem like it was always meant to be that way. I think a lot of season 3 was created without there necessarily being those ideas for season 3 when season 2 and season 1 respectively were actually finished. And so I have complete faith in them that if they do return, that it will have all these things paid off. What are these things exactly? Let's have a look in the old text. Let's have a look. So I want to talk about the white horse, which was on the mantelpiece of the house that Cooper went to in this very strange dream state that he was in. For a moment, I thought he might have been a combination of the Coop that we know and the evil Coop, because of the way he was dealing with people. It was very monotone, like evil Coop, but also quite earnest, like the Coop that we know. But I just, as I said, I thought that for a moment. I don't think that the evil Coop storyline needs to be revisited. They definitely and quite finally smashed that to pieces via Freddie's hand. But that horse is obviously a reference to Sarah Palmer's vision of a white horse, and also if you read Laura Palmer's Secret Diary, written by Jennifer Lynch, you'll know that that horse was bought for a young Laura Palmer for her birthday. I think these are all different elements in this new universe, which Cooper has unwittingly created by, stopping Laura from being killed in this new universe that he somehow found himself in. These are all remnants of what happened in the timeline that we know. And perhaps if we do get a season 4, Laura Palmer will have all these different remnants that she has to work through, because she's become awoken by the end of the show, literally woken from the dream via, I don't know if you noticed it, but a figure in the window of her house who could be another remnant, as I say, of perhaps Leland Palmer. And that's given her a big shock as to what she was perhaps happy to be away from, happy to be asleep from. So there is that. She is on the run. This episode being very much a successor in tone to Mulholland Drive, in that characters are playing aspects of themselves and are completely unaware to what the audience is aware of, and that, well, they are not complete. There's a dead man in her living room, and she's not speaking about it at all to Cooper, who's come in, which again is something that the show can get away with, because ultimately there is no consequence to some of these actions that people are making. In fact, once you allow that to be the case, you stop asking certain questions. Although I would like to know more about Audrey. But anyway, another thing that I want to talk about in this dissection, pretty much of episode 18, is that we have a car following Cooper and our friend Laura Palmer, or as she's known as Miss Page in this episode. And I don't know if that car is in any way related to what she's running away from. But again, this is Lynch and Frost having a game with us. They're putting various different seedlings there for us to want to know about. And if we are truly invested in seeing more of seeing Twin Peaks, if you want to see season 4, then make your presence known, make a video about it, talk to a friend about it, and get them to do a website, whatever. But it's only for our love of the show that I think we'll actually get another one. So let's hope for the best. Will there be a part 3? Definitely. Stay tuned.